In today's lecture, we will be learning about Python variables. So, first thing that I would like to start from is this x is equals to 5. Now here what I have done, I have assigned a value to this variable x. In Python what happens, we are not required to declare the variables. The way you remember, we used to declare the variables on this platform code.org like this, var x, and after that we used to assign a value to this variable. So declaration is mandatory on this platform. But if you'll talk about Python, declaration is not there. You don't have to declare the variable. You can directly write down the name of the variable and assign it a value. Now when you will hit the enter button, what is going to happen? Automatically this value, the compiler of this platform will assign this value to x. If you want to find out, if you want to verify it, what you can do, you can make use of this command print x. What are you going to get with this command? You are going to get the value of x as an output, right? Let's check what are we going to get. So this is the value which is getting reflected over here. So it means that the value of x is 5, right? As you know that x is a variable. So a variable is in storage space in which we can store something. Why is it known as a variable? We can change its value at any point. Suppose if you want to assign it a string type of value. So as we all know that a string is a combination of characters, like a class is a group of objects. In the same way, a string is a group of letters or characters, whatever you say. So this is a string type of value. Why we are calling it as a string type of value? Because there are 4 characters which I've defined over here. Besides, I have enclosed it in between these 2 double inverted commas. So that is the reason I'm calling it as a string type of value. Now let's hit the enter button and check out the output. What we are going to get if we'll run this code. So this is the output which we are getting now. Okay, so the value of x has changed from 5 to this string type of value, right? Now if you want to find out the type of value, let me prove it to you that it is a string. So how will I prove it to you? For doing that, there is a command called type, with which we can find out the type of a variable, or you can say the type of value which the developer or the user has assigned to a particular variable. So if you'll write type and you'll enclose this variable inside these 2 round brackets and you'll hit enter button, you're going to come across this thing. So what is the class which is getting reflected over here? What is the name of the class? str. str stands for string. So it means that the value which we have stored in this variable x, it is a string type of value. Fine. So that's how we can prove that the value we have assigned, it is a string type. Now let's assign let me assign it a value like this. Now what I have done here, so these are 2 different strings, right? As you can see, which I have assigned in one go to this variable x. Is it possible for me to do so? For that, I need to hit the enter button. Yes, the value has got assigned to this variable successfully. Now let's check out what is the type of this value that we have assigned to this variable x over here. So for doing that, we can again make use of this type x command. We can put it here and let's run this command. So what is the type of this command? It's a set. Okay, it's a set of two strings that we have assigned to this variable x. Fine. So you can assign a value like this also to a particular variable. Now let's assign another type of value to this variable. So now I have assigned a value like this to this variable x. Now what I have done here, this is a string, okay, and this is the value that I've assigned to this string with the help of this colon. Fine. In the same way, I have assigned a value because this is an integer number. It's an integer, so that is the reason I haven't enclosed it in between two double inverted commas. So for age, I have defined an integer type of value, and for this name, I have defined a string. Fine. Now what is the type of this value that I have assigned to this variable x? So for finding that out, we need to run this type x again. So what is the type? It is DICT. It stands for dictionary. Absolutely right. So this value that we have defined over here, it's a dictionary data type which we have assigned to this variable x. We will talk about these things in the future classes. For now, you just have to remember the names of these data types which we are studying right now. Okay, now let's talk about this value. If suppose you assign a value like this to a particular variable, now what is the difference between this value that I've assigned over here and this one which I assigned earlier to this variable x? What this j is doing, this j is making this whole thing an imaginary value, and it falls under which category? That's what we have to check, and for checking that we can put this type x command over here, and the type is complex. So it's a complex type of value. So every imaginary value which you will assign to this variable x, the type of that you will come out to be complex. Okay, so assign this value to x. Can you tell me what is the data type of this value, or what is the type of this value which I have assigned to this variable x? Would you like to try? Absolutely correct. The data type or the type of this value is string. Fine, because it's a combination of characters which I have defined in between these two inverted commas, and then I have assigned this whole thing to this variable x. So right now it is working as a string, and that is the reason the thing that is going to get reflected over here is str. Fine, so it's a string type of value. Now let's talk about one more value, that is, if suppose you write down something like this, true. Okay, if you'll assign true to this variable, will it accept it, or it is going to give us a syntax error because we haven't enclosed it in between two double inverted commas? Okay, so it has accepted this value. Now what is the type of this value? To find that out, we need to run this command again here. So the type of the value is bool, and bool stands for boolean. Okay, true and false, these are the two words which fall under this category boolean. Remember this thing. Let me just show it to you practically. If you'll assign this value false to this variable x, what is going to happen? The type which you are going to get now of this variable as a result, it will be bool. So it's a boolean value which you have assigned to this variable x. Fine. So these are some kind of data types which we are going to make use of in the future classes. Please do check them out practically. Please do try them at your home on your respective device. You can give me your feedback in the comment section. I will be waiting for the same. Thank you very much for attending this lecture.